So that new Star Wars movie is out, and I guess it's okay.
Okay. You think it's great.
Yeah, Last Jedi just came out, and it's amazing.
I love it.
Totally go see it.
Yeah, I know it's divisive, apparently.
I'm not entirely certain why it's so divisive, but apparently it is. But I would definitely say go get it. It is very good.
If you go get it, you've done something probably illegal.
Yeah, don't go see it. Go see it. It's definitely theater worthy.
Woo!
So yes, but we're not gonna talk about Star Wars 1 because we don't want to spoil it for you too. That's not what we're here for. We're gonna talk about ponies. Yes, welcome to Pony 411. This is episode 207 for the week of December 17th. I am Alca7raz, and with me as normal is Nemesis.
Hey there.
Yes, Christmas is upon us here pretty darn soon.
Yeah, you have next time. Well, yeah.
Next time you hear the episode after this one will be after Christmas.
Yes.
So, or hearths warming, as is fitting for our theme. So yeah, it's getting kind of cold.
A little bit.
Around here, it's... Anyway, got another episode for you. Our standard fare news.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, boy.
Yeah, there's...
We definitely got news, all right.
We got some news. There's been some very recent, as of recording, developments that have happened.
Look at those in a bit.
But, yeah. Anyway, the news, we're going to talk about an old episode. Going to talk about some comics.
2 comics.
Yes, we actually
One came on time.
We got comics on time. And we got a little bit of fan content we'll talk about afterwards as well. So let's get started with this into the news. If you would like to follow along, you can find all of our show notes at pony411.libsyn.com/show notes. So go there, click the link for this episode, and let's get into this. In convention news, a new convention in Adelaide, Australia has popped up. It's called Alca7raz MLP, apparently. And yeah, it's brand new. It looks like they're shooting for September 22nd and 23rd.
2018.
So, yeah, obviously. It's not like they're going to do it in the past.
Well, they could do it in 2019.
Yes, but yeah, next year. So a 2-day convention instead of a full 3-day. Tickets are up. You can see how much they are. There's like a 2-day pass, a weekend pass, and then their After Dark pass, because that's the name of their convention. And I think that's just like showing up just for the concert. Name of their concert. Yeah, not convention. Into fandom news, the Seeds of Kindness, A Healing Touch album is out.
Yep.
Go help a charity and check that out. The Ponies at Dawn Memories album has also been released. We're a little bit late on that. I think it was dropped just after recording the last episode. And it is actually not new songs. It's a collection of older songs that haven't been on a Ponies at Dawn release before. So don't expect anything brand new. You've probably already heard some of them. But again, help a charity out. Ambient, the game, has released an update video talking about where they are and why they don't release updates videos all that often. TLDR, because they're busy working on stuff. So check that out if you're interested. And Starved for Light has also released an update video as well, talking about, again, what's been going on.
Mm-hmm.
Not much else that they would talk about in an update video. And an old fan game, Adventure of the Lunar Bolts, is still alive and just recently posted an update as well. And this is, they gave it to EQD, so check it out with them. Some screenshots of what they have and stuff like that. And that's a top-down RPG type game.
Da-da-da-da.
Yep. Into merchandise news, the new design Equestria Girls dolls are now listed on Amazon. Mm-hmm. So we got some more images and stuff that are on the Amazon thing.
If you don't want to buy them at Toys R Us for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think as of posting right now, it's third party. I'm not certain if it's first party sellers on Amazon, but the listings do exist.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get them in Toys R Us. I just was actually Toys R Us, and they do have them now. If you're looking.
Might want to wait a little bit on the Amazon ones if you're kind of getting there to make sure it's first-party stuff, because third parties always sell them for more.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of Amazon, Amazon has listings for a bunch of upcoming toys, mostly brushables, but also the Guardians of Harmony, Tempest, and Twilight fan series figure. That's kind of a mouthful. So yes, listing for those are up. Whole bunch of brushables, though, as well. The Gameloft Pony game has a new Hearth's Warming update, but this time there's a little bit of an interesting story tidbit in it, instead of just a general, hey, got a couple new characters and yay. This one has 2 stories as part of it. One of them is one we know, it's to change a changeling, and the other one is as follows. Lyra and Bonbon save Hearth's Warming Eve. Doctor Who's has opened a portal to the past to observe the Hearth's Warming Eve legend. But things went awry and he accidentally released the Wendigos. Only Bonbon and Lyra can come to the rescue and send back the Wendigos before they ruin the holidays for every pony.
Well,
Lyra and Bonbon go on time-traveling adventures.
Time-traveling lesbian adventures.
Don't know if they're lesbians, but that's not part of the story as far as we can tell with the synopsis. But time-traveling adventures with Doctor Who's.
Yeah.
Yay. Some people will be happy, some people won't. Moving on, Zazzle has pony-themed stamps for sale, including some G3 stuff. And it's Zazzle official, it's not like just someone making them and putting them up on Zazzle.
Give them the old razzle zazzle.
Yep. Because Zazzle does let other people make things.
Some of those are actually G1. That's definitively G1.
Yeah, they got some old stuff, some new stuff, but stamps. So if you want to put ponies on your envelopes or whatnot, you can. And Applejack is now on Apple cereal boxes.
But not Apple Jacks.
But not Apple Jacks. It's the generic Apple Jacks.
Apple cereal.
Yes. And Twilight and Rainbow are also on cereal boxes.
Apple Blasts.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, it's the Great Value, which is a generic brand down in Mexico. It's a generic store brand version. But yes.
Get your pony cereal.
Get your ponies on cereal boxes. A company called Blanky Tails is now selling pony-themed mermaid tail blanket things. They're like half blanket, half sleeping bag things.
Yeah. And they make them in adult sizes.
They do.
Just saying.
Just saying, you can have your mermaid tail blanket thing. And have ponies all over it.
Act out your fantasies.
Be a sea pony, sort of, with ponies all over your legs, tail thing.
Be part of their world.
And be nice and warm and cozy while you do it. Although, don't put it in water, it won't work very well. It'll be kind of waterlogged and soggy. The Festival of Lights expansion to the Tales of Equestria game is now available.
In the US.
In the US. It's the officially licensed tabletop RPG.
Yeah. If I recall, this is the one that was already released internationally, but it's finally out in the US.
The Equestria Girls book, A Friendship to Remember, is now available.
Mm-hmm.
Not entirely certain what it's about, but it's
apparently there's something in there which I'm disappointed they relegated to the books.
Oh.
Sunset and Celestia.
Aww.
Put it in the book.
Put it in the book. Might have to get it.
Yeah.
A short behind-the-scenes clip on the redesign of the new Equestria Girls dolls was posted. It's linked in the news. And I think it's also the one that's on the Amazon listings. Because there's one of those too. In comic news, a preview for Legends of Magic #9 is up on iTunes. And Equestria Girls news, the Pinky Sitting short is up on YouTube, as well as the Finals Countdown short. They're up for your viewing pleasure.
Mm-hmm. If you haven't already watched them.
If you haven't already watched them, yes. And a short preview for an upcoming Equestria Girls short was posted by Hasbro, and maybe multiple of it. This looks like the beach episode.
Mm-hmm.
Short little clip showing that.
There's also another one where we see Granny's a speed demon.
Yes. So, short little previews.
Beach episode!
Beach episode, yep.
Ah!
We've been hearing about this for a while. And into our last section of news. Pre-orders for the MLP movie are available on Amazon now, so you can grab it there, as well as the many other places that it's up.
Yeah, if you're smart and listen to us on Twitter, you probably grabbed it on Target.
Yes.
For cheap.
Target's had it up for a bit. And Redbox will be getting the movie on the 9th
of
January because, again, kind of already passed the 9th.
That's the physical release date. They are getting a day and date with the physical, so if you just want to rent it for whatever reason.
Yeah. So yes, the physical is on the 9th, but the digital release will be on the 19th of this month.
Just a reminder. So by the time you'll be hearing this, he'll be out.
Yeah. So that's like the day after we release this episode. It'll probably be out.
Unless things go weird, in which case it
will be the day of. Looks like we're getting at least 2 episodes with Discord in Season 8, as what John Delancey has tweeted.
Yep.
At least 2 he said he was recording. And the upcoming MLP annual, the 2019 annual, had some spoilers for Season 8.
Minor ones.
Well,
one of them's kind of an whole episode, basically.
Basically, yeah. It describes one whole episode, and the other one's just has one little tidbit of something that's going to be happening.
Yep.
Which, I guess, brings us to the big one.
The big spoilers. Oh, boy.
Apparently, and I don't know what the time frame is on when we're recording this, but I don't think it was out yesterday. I think it happened the day of us recording this. There has been a massive leak.
Yep.
Yeah, but you've probably already heard this by the time you hear this episode, but yeah.
Yes.
The same avenue that the movie leaks came out.
And the last few episodes of Season 7.
Yeah. It's big. Why don't you talk about it, because you've looked at it more than I have.
Yeah,
I've been trying to stay free of some of it.
So a lot of stuff's in there. I'm not going to say anything really about it other than it all is pretty much, I'm pretty sure it's legitimate. It's like 99% certain it's legitimate. There's stuff about another movie, G5. That's a big one that people are freaking out about. It's looking more and more like Season 9 will be the final season of Friendship is Magic. Possibly Equestria Girls will outlast it into at least 2020, which is interesting because I got some people upset. Every single episode and title and synopsis, although some of them are placeholders at this point, are out there for Season 8. Every single one of them. And yeah, based off the fact that we've seen other sources for leaks, this is a legitimate list. So Season 8 in its entirety is now been we now know the basics.
Yeah. Of
Season 8. Or some of us, if we looked.
Internal emails and stuff too.
Yeah, internal emails.
That's got me a bit.
Yeah, someone did
miffed.
Something. Yeah.
I mean, just having mass spoilers has never really. I mean, we always think like, oh, we got some spoilers, some minor leaks here, and it's never really been a big issue. But now we've been getting these massive leaks, and it's actually, in my opinion, harmful.
Yeah, it is. I know the guy who leaked this said he can't get in anymore. They tightened up security.
Well, I would think if they find it's him, he's not only get fired, but if he's leaking internal emails, he's pushing.
I don't think it's an employee. That's the scary part.
Yeah, that means it's direct violation of the CFAA. This is straight up illegal.
Yeah. The leaks are out there. It's looking like Season 8 and 9 are planned already. Season 9 will be followed up by a movie of some sort, and then apparently they're going to do G5 in 2020, and their plan right now is to kick that off with a movie. They're going to do apparently a CG movie for G5 and then go into 2D animation. They're already redesigning characters and everything. They're talking about this stuff. It looks like they're planning on changing up the characters, like more or less having some of the same core cast members in a way, but they're going to put a new spin on them, which is expected for a new version. Weird things like, is there some weird designs out there? There's, again, remember, a lot of that stuff is still very much in early development and none of it's necessarily final.
Yeah, anything that's been leaked so far could be changed.
Particularly for G5. I think stuff for Friendship is Magic is probably more in stone than stuff for G5, which is still quite a bit away, and they have time to change it up. We'll see how that goes. I'm personally going to go in with a, open mind, see how they do it. Shutting things off just because it's different than what I want, it doesn't really go well. Especially, again, I'm kind of used to the Transformers, which has been rebooted multiple times now, and so you got a lot of characters who are kind of like how I remember them, but they're also very different in many ways. So I think just outright dismissing it because it's not the same is foolish.
Yes, just dismissing something just based on the fact that it's different isn't good. But there is, I mean, I can also see
if you have legitimate concerns with what they're going, that I understand that. But if it's just because it's different, it's not really legitimate, in my opinion.
There's, I guess, one of the other aspects I can see is when you really enjoy a character and a very specific character, having that be changed kind of hurts a bit because all of a sudden it's like you just lost a character. This thing you liked so much is now, it's not them. It's gone.
Well,
and sometimes that can hurt.
It's looking more. They're not outright completely revamping characters. They're adjusting them for a new story. So then basically they're not just rehashing what they already have, which makes sense. So if they keep the core, which it seems like what they're doing, they're trying to keep the core personality traits intact, but adjusting some of the details about them. So if they manage to do that, which I think is the best case, which is more or less what they've been doing with Transformers for a while now. So they can, I think, get away with it, especially since it's seeming like a lot of the same people who work on Friendship's Magic are going to be moving over to this new G5, whatever they call it.
Yeah, whatever they call it. But yeah, I can see why people are worried.
Oh, yeah. Especially when they say CG movie.
Ugh.
For it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's unless things have changed a lot in the last few months, we're pretty much going to see the end of Friendship's Magic in a couple years.
Potentially, yeah. That's
unless
what it looks like.
Changed alike. That seems to be the plan. 2019, one final season. They even call it the final season and wrap it up with a final movie special thing, whatever. They're still not sure. Apparently, one of the things they're talking about is possibly rather than doing a second Friendship's Magic movie, just put all the money into the new movie for the new series.
Yeah.
So it really depends on how they want to wrap it all up.
Also, apparently, Megan needs napkins.
Yeah, too. Again, remember with the new one, nothing's in stone for sure. A lot of it, because a lot of the emails, if and stuff, it's pretty clear it's all still in flux.
Yeah, this is definitely just a time will tell kind of a thing.
So we'll see how that goes.
We'll see what happens.
But, I mean, I think some people are still like, well, you can't end it yet. But it's like, guys, by the time we get to that point where they're ending it, it'll have been 9 years.
Yes, but remember, people really, really love this, and they hate saying the thing.
That's insane for a cartoon.
It is really, really long.
It will have breached 200 episodes, plus possibly 2 movies, and a spin-off, which will outlive it a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah. No one wants to see something they love disappear.
All good things must come to an end.
But you're never going to be happy when they do.
No, but I've been down that road multiple times.
You have, but I think a lot of this fandom, considering there's a lot in this fandom that are really young, this is their first.
Well, it's going to happen
This
sometime.
is their first fandom, so it makes sense why there's a lot of worry.
Eventually the ride will end.
The ride will never end unless we let it end. The ride exists outside the show. Remember, the show will end. The ride will not. I think that's enough about that.
Yeah, just so, the spoilers are out there for Season 8. Just
be
watch
wary.
Yourself. They are out there, and they're relatively easy to get your hands on. It's going to be a big thing. Don't be a jerk and start spreading them around.
Yeah, please. Don't just start throwing them at people.
I'm only comfortable talking about G5 because a lot of that's in flux, and it's not necessarily Friendship is Magic.
Yeah, we are not even going to get into the stuff that's shown about Season 8.
Yeah, because I looked at it, and I will just say it's legitimate based off everything I've seen.
Yeah. Anyway, again, I think that's as much as I can talk about there. So we will move on to comics.
Yep, comics. Friendship's Magic number 61. This came out, what was it, last week? Yeah, last week. Yeah, Friendship's Magic number 61. Written by Ted Anderson with art by Andy Price and colors by Heather Breckle. And let's see, Twilight and Celestia and Raven are going to a little summit thing.
A little summit thing.
A little summit thing at the Hall of Unity. Yes, and they go there, and, well, they just wind up meeting a bunch of other characters, people from different nations and whatnot. And it's a large chunk of this is more or less exploring those different countries and nations, cultures. That's more or less it. And, well, something happens at the end, but that's kind of sets up for the next comic issue. It's got some interesting artwork. It's Andy Price, so you get some pretty good. There's little jokes in here and whatnot. The thing is, it's very much a setup.
Yeah, most of these have been.
Yeah.
It's like, how many times do we have to hold off judgment because this is just the beginning.
Yeah, it's very much a judgment, so not a whole lot happens throughout it. It's very much a lot of that is just setting up for stuff and just kind of showing off all these different things that they've come up with for this comic. Who knows how much of this will stay canon?
Yeah. Yeah, there's some things though, like the whole. Well, one, we see a whole bunch of stuff from the movie. Characters from the movie have popped up now. Races that were introduced in the movie are now shown here. So that's kind of neat. Mm-hmm. With little visual gags here and there. Yeah, the thing they do with the library and the archives and the archivists. Yeah. Kind of interesting.
It's Queen Novo.
Oh, yes. Novo shows up.
Yep.
And drenches Cadence.
Yep.
But yeah, it is interesting in its own right. There is sort of a mini plot that's just within this one.
To a degree, yeah.
With the archivists.
I suspect it's going to expand a bit in the next one.
Maybe. It could,
Particularly what I've seen of the summary of the next one.
I can't remember the summary for the next one.
What I remember of it, it's going to expand a bit on that. So it'll be interesting, I think. But at this point, it's kind of
it's politics.
Yeah, it's not. There's not a whole lot to it. It's enjoyable, but it's kind of shallow at this point.
That's because it's a setup.
Yeah, because we don't have the full story quite yet, and we'll see how it goes in the future.
Yep.
So I can't really recommend it, but can't really not recommend it either. One of those. Anyway, the other one, we got the My Little Pony Holiday Special. And no, it's not Equestria Girls.
Yay!
I wouldn't have minded if, they did it right this time. But anyway.
At least it wasn't Star Wars.
Yeah, this one is written by James Asmus and art by Brenda Hickey and colors by Heather Beckel.
Heather's been getting a lot of jobs.
She's pretty much doing all the IDW pony stuff right now.
All the coloring stuff.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Twilight and Applejack are hanging out and stuff, and then the Flim Flam brothers show up.
Oh boy.
And
everything is ruined.
Make everything hyper-commercialized for Hearthswarming. They don't like this, including having really annoying songs. Anyway, they endeavor to stop them somehow, but Flim and Flam are really good sales ponies. That's more or less the gist of the comic.
This comic.
Yeah.
This comic,
in some ways it's kind of weird because it feels like it doesn't, I don't know, it feels like it kind of jumps morals at one point.
Yeah, was
okay. Because it feels like everything's set up for this is the moral, and no, it's not. This is the moral instead. Oh, sure.
Yeah, I wasn't
entirely
certain which direction they were trying to go with this.
So it's kind of weird, in that regard. Yeah, there's a couple little things. There's some interesting faces from Brenda in this one. There's one particular where Twilight has a face. Oh yeah, it's kind of a really off-center, just V face, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of odd looking, but it kind of works. I guess it really does show how annoyed Twilight is, and Applejack.
Yep.
Yeah.
The true meaning of Christmas. I mean hearthwarming.
Also, I just noticed the Fry pony.
Fry.
Shut up and take my bits.
Take my bits.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting.
It's a bit real world meta.
Yeah, it does get a bit.
There is a fourth
meta,
wall break as well.
There's one spot that's very meta about. It's like, guys, are you biting the hand that feeds you right now?
Well, that was like the straight up fourth wall break.
I know, but
with Pinky.
It's like they're making fun of holiday special comics. It's like,
But I mean, just like the moral, I guess, is rather real world meta. Yeah. It's not meta with itself, but it's meta with everything else that's going on.
Yeah, it's strange in
some ways. The war of Christmas aggression.
I still like it, but again, it just kind of has a bit of a jarring thing regarding
it. It flips. It flips its
Flips
moral
the
at
script.
the end.
So it's a little jarring, but if you can get past that, it's actually pretty fun to read.
It is.
And also, if you're a Twilight Jumper, I like it.
Yeah, it's definitely got fuel for that.
So it's a little bit more expensive than standard comic at $5, which not a whole much more, but at $5, yeah, it's still worth it at $5.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a larger issue. It's actually got nice quality paper this time.
Also, the very ending.
Yep, big thing there.
Yeah,
So
I was happy with the last panel.
so go check it out. I think it's a good holiday special this time around.
Yep.
I think last time was a good one too. That was the one with that was one with multiple stories. This is just one long story. There's no second story or anything. So check that out. It's a good one.
Yep. So that's all the comics. So I guess we will talk about our main discussion point, which we're going to go back to an old episode and almost the oldest episode. We're going to talk about the Ticketmaster. Alright, so quick synopsis for those who don't remember this episode. Twilight's helping Applejack on the farm. She suddenly gets 2 tickets to the Grand Galloping Gala. She goes, oh, well, Applejack wants to go, because, yay, sales. So gonna take Applejack. But then Rainbow Dash overhears and goes, oh, you should take me instead. And Twilight's like, oh no, I don't know which one to take. I gotta think about this. And then runs into Pinky, and Pinky goes, oh, you should take me. And then Rarity goes, oh, you should take me, because she's also there. And then Fluttershy gets it and goes, oh, I should go too. And from then on, Twilight just struggles as they all try to do favors to get the ticket until it all blows up in everyone's face. And they're all sorry. Like, oh, I'm sorry we made you feel bad. So Twilight gives up all the tickets, both tickets, and then gets 6 tickets more, and they all get to go, and everyone's happy. So yeah, there's the synopsis.
There you go. Yep.
This is the first normal episode of the series.
Right.
So, because the only one before this was the pilot, the 2-part pilot.
Which is, as people said, very different from the rest of it.
Yeah. So this is the first one where we really see how the series is going to progress forward. And it's a fairly simple story, as were most of Season 1. As everyone's still figuring out where they are in this. You know, after watching it, I still think it holds up. It still has its charm.
Right.
And it's not, I mean, it's not perfect, but I can't really think of anything wrong with it either. The pacing doesn't seem too off. I mean, it's not like we had issues later in the series with pacing problems. It's simple, it's effective, it's enjoyable, it's fun.
Right. Anyway, the thing about this episode is this is a very typical type of episode for cartoons. Is the someone has something and then everyone else is trying to do favors and annoying them.
It's a common trope,
particularly in cartoons. But this one is kind of more. Usually those go with like 2 or 3 people. This is 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting. Ty keeps talking about how they all have kind of valid reasons to go, and it's like, well, if anything, if we're gonna be really honest, Applejack probably had the best reason to go, which is need money to help the farm out.
She had the least selfish reason, I guess.
Livelihood.
Yeah.
For her livelihood versus the others. Well, Rarity wanted to meet Prince. Fluttershy wanted to see animals. Pinky wanted to party.
Dash was probably the second because it is somewhat her livelihood because it's,
to a degree, but
to a degree, it's not as self.
It's not livelihood so much as living out her dream.
Yeah.
Well, the way she was describing would have been one heck of a long shot.
It would have been. Well, they were all long shots in the end.
That's the thing is with Applejack particularly is we have these things that need to be done for sure, and I need the money for it, and this would help a lot.
Yeah, Applejack was probably the most reasonable one. If you were to think about it logically and such like that, Applejack was probably the best option. But
so it's the first option, but then Dash butted in.
Dash was napping.
It'd be interesting if that didn't happen. If that didn't happen, it would have been just like, it's just going to be trying Applejack.
Potentially, yeah. We don't know
if Dash didn't wake up or wasn't there. It's likely that would have been that. It's like, hey, we're going to the Grand Galloping Gala.
So once again, we prove that Rainbow Dash is the crux of the entire series.
No, she's the crux of all the problems.
Nah. We see in Cutie Mark Chronicles that, she was the reason that they even met in the first place.
Being useful once does not mean you're useful any other time.
Well, the entire finale wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Dash then. Everything pivots around Dash. The entire series, everything does.
You down.
Anyway. Yeah, it is nice going back and watching these old ones and seeing the charm they have. This was a source of a lot of little things that we still hold on to. Oatmeal. Yes, once they're all yelling at her. And then I said, oatmeal, are you crazy?
That's a lot of the faces in this one particular were used
a lot of faces, a lot of the poses.
Yeah. It's also weird. Once again, this is very much early Rarity, so her voice is noticeably different.
Also, her horn is different.
Yeah, there's that too, that weird animation thing. They kind of didn't figure out how to do that until later.
Yeah, because out of the main 6, she's the only one who you can see the base of her horn, because Twilight has hair covering it up the whole time.
Yeah.
So she had the delineation on the bottom of her horn that makes it look like it's detachable.
So, yeah, her voice was... she's the one character who noticeably is different voice-wise. Although you can kind of hear Ashley Ball still kind of getting used to both Applejack and Rainbow Dash a little bit, particularly in the early part where they're arguing. I notice you can kind of hear it a little bit, but Rarity in particular is noticeably different. Inflections are kind of different. The range isn't ready quite there yet.
Yeah. This is the 3rd episode. They're still getting used to their characters.
And this carries well into season 1 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oddly enough, I think Andrea Libman and Tara Strong probably kind of latched on the quickest out of all of them to the characters.
Probably. Tara's just got a huge amount of experience to lean on.
Well, they all have
in general. They all do.
But I think this particular two of them got kind of used to their characters the quickest versus the other two VAs who kind of, and Kathy Westlock as well. But the other two, Ashley Ball and Tabitha, take a little bit longer to kind of settle into their characters.
Yeah.
So there's that.
There's that.
Oh yeah, this is also our introduction to Blue Blood.
Oh.
Blue Blood.
Right. I guess since you opened that door, let's... This was... this is probably where Rarity first kind of dropped for me, where I really just started not liking Rarity. I wasn't really happy with it just because I wasn't a fan of fashion and stuff like that. But this one, after that whole bit, it was just like everything I don't like about a character personality right there. It's just, no, Rarity's done for me.
Well, at this point in time, yeah, Rarity wasn't such a... I wasn't really too into Rarity at this point in time, but later on, she'd, become a lot funnier.
Oh, she's a lot better now.
I mean, so I like her a lot more than I used to. At one point in time, I think I'd put her like at number 4 or something on the list. And that was only because I only found the two Pegasi less interesting at the time. So Rarity was number 4, but...
Tisk.
Yeah. But as time has gone on, I've liked Rarity a lot more. So, yeah, so this is kind of that very, very, very early on Rarity before the crazy was revealed.
Before the crazy. Yeah. Yeah, she really kind of crazy.
Yeah, we first see the signs of of Rarity's little bit of craziness in Suited for Success, but then from there on out, we don't really see it a whole lot till later in the show. But yeah, Blue Blood though and stuff that was kind of a whole weird thing. Like, who the heck's Blue Blood?
Who the heck is this? Nephew.
Prince
Celestia's nephew.
Yeah, that was a bit of a hoof.
Yeah.
Boy,
that was a thing.
That was a weird thing. Wait, so that means Luna's kid? How?
Yeah, that was just wait.
It's like, no. Wait, does that mean there's a third sibling?
You mean there's another princess out there somewhere?
Now it seems like they've kind of settled on as kind of this weird pseudo-adoption thing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's official, but I think that's what the fandom
Cadence
has.
Cadence is now technically kind of sort of Celestia's niece, so...
Yeah, well, because Cadence calls Celestia aunt.
Yeah, it's
Aunt
weird.
Celestia.
So it's kind of odd.
It is. I think they just the other royalty refer to them as their aunt.
Although then there's the whole thing of who is the rest of the royalty. It seems like they kind of, after this and Cadence, they kind of stopped doing just random royalty.
Yeah. I think, I don't know if there's any official, I think the fandom has settled on the idea that Blue Blood is part of the old line.
Something like that, because like
old royal
I can't
line.
recall. He was supposed to be like a duke or something. They didn't. Then there's the worry, the kids might not get it, so make him a prince.
Make him a prince because we don't understand
Then we could
Duke.
have because then Rarity's dreaming about being Princess Rarity, which then became a whole thing of like, well, Rarity deserves to get all corn because she wants to be a princess so bad. It's like, that's just because you want to be royalty doesn't mean you.
Well, that's all Blue Blood does.
I know. And then we later find out Blue Blood's a huge jerk.
He's a huge jerk.
And he never really appeared again after this.
He appeared in that one episode with the CMC, with the love poison, the Cheramak thing. He showed up during the song. Too stuffy, I say.
Was that him? I don't think
that was him, if I remember correctly.
I don't think that was him.
I want to say it was. It was just a random aside that makes no difference, but I think it was him.
I'm 90% certain it wasn't him.
I don't know. I might be remembering it wrong, but that's what I remember.
I just remember that after Best Night Ever, he was gone.
Good.
Because, well, yeah, no one really likes him. And as far as I'm concerned, no one really likes him. I mean, there's a handful of people, but...
Well, he gets used a lot in fanfics.
Yeah, fanfics, but usually as a villain of sorts if they need a
villain
not
or
evil villain, but they just need someone to be a jerk,
an antagonist,
be a jerk and be kind of a spanner in the works.
Yeah, or
someone who's manipulated by the real villain easily,
or just someone to fill a spot.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, what was it? Yeah, Dash should have wanted the Wonderbolt thing, but
yeah,
this is the second time the Wonderbolts came up.
Yes, the second time. A little bit interesting with the Dash as she's talking about all the things that she'd do to show off. Her signature moves. I can't even remember what her big signature finishing move was that we never actually saw other than some flashing lightning bolts. Yeah, like Buccaneer Blitz or something.
Yeah, I think that was it.
I think it is. But it's kind of interesting. We never saw the Sonic Rain Boom.
No, not until later.
So it's at this point in writing, they hadn't even thought of it yet.
I know, they said that. They said as such, there's a lot of stuff they had not figured out yet at this point. This was very early.
Yeah.
If I recall the Cutie Mark Chronicles, none of that stuff was set yet at the time. So it's kind of interesting. But
so they didn't actually have much canon to go with there. Yeah. They didn't have...
But one thing I really did like was Flash. Were you doing this for a favor? No. And then the angel just glares, and then yes, we're doing it just
all for the ticket.
We're doing this just for the ticket. Oh,
at least she eventually just was straight up about it.
She was.
So Pinky just started out that way.
Pinky, Pinky,
you're not even trying to be subtle.
No subtlety. Twice the cutest, smartest, all around best pony. Truth. Woo.
Yeah, it was simple, it was effective.
Yeah,
I think the one biggest thing that everyone got hung up on was the floating tickets at the very end. When they all got their tickets. They all had their tickets magically floating above them.
They were just enchanted. It's just
that's the only thing I can think of, is the tickets themselves were enchanted.
Just go with it. It's just easier that way.
It means you don't have to make any of the characters magical like that. Also, the magic that was causing them to float was gold, like the tickets. And we already know that the magic.
Yeah, the whole thing was
the whole
thing about this episode though was it was the kickoff for the Grand Galloping Gala in general.
It was
first of 3 episodes that really touched on it. Well, first in the first season anyway.
It was part of the overarching story plot.
Well, there wasn't really an overarching plot.
I know it wasn't. It was 3 episodes.
Here's Grand Galloping Gala. Here it is again. Here it is in the finale.
Yep.
And it's just kind of because the ticket is this big, huge event, and the thing is, none of them actually know a darn thing about it. As we find out, they know it exists, but they don't know a thing about it.
Yet none of them have been to it. And they just have their ideas about what it is. It's not that kind of party.
Yeah. So this is the introduction of that, which we then later in the season we revisit and then come back to and then finally get to at the end. So that was kind of an interesting. This is like right at the beginning too. And again, this show was very much set up in such a way that it wasn't really intended to be kind of a continuous. Well, sort of. I know Lauren Faust had some ideas, but
it was very much an individual slice of life.
Yeah.
You didn't have to know
again,
about
Lauren Faust
ones.
was planning for bigger things later on, but
yeah,
it took a while for those bigger things to really start to kick in.
Yeah, they're also, getting used to the characters, getting used to the writing, getting used to everyone is getting used to the job and the universe, but they're also, still in the beginning, they still had to hedge their bets. They couldn't just dump everything. They had to be cautious about some things.
Well, they were guaranteed 26 episodes, so they knew that.
Yeah. But they also, couldn't quite figure out what they could go for yet. How far they could take things.
Kind of weird is like how jarringly bad the background pony vocals are. Let's be honest, they weren't great early on. They were pretty
stand-in.
They really much feel like they got some animator to just come in and voice some lines real quick.
Isn't that sort of what they did? They just grabbed who was in the studio at the time?
I believe that was indeed the case later on. They did start getting better about giving background ponies actual better voices that didn't sound like they're
phoned in.
Yeah, or not necessarily phoned in. A lot of them probably were trying, but let's be honest, aren't actors.
Yeah, just whoever happens to be in the studio at the time.
But
which is one of the reasons why the background characters like Bon Bon always has a different voice for a while, like every time she speaks.
So it was really a really odd thing. In some ways, it's kind of odd just because. Well, we got 5 different reasons to go, but one of them is kind of clearly a bit more better than the others, but
a bit.
At the same time, I can understand, don't want to disappoint any of them.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest one is I just made all these friends and I don't want to start playing favorites
That's when you
already.
Just rip up the ticket into 5 pieces and here you go. Now nobody goes.
If everyone is special.
This is also the first episode where Twilight teleported with someone else.
Right, much to Spike's disdain.
Fire. Yeah.
He's fireproof. He should be fine with it.
Well, he wasn't
established
scorched. He was apparently a bit scorched, so not entirely fireproof. Apparently he's got limits.
Apparently he's fine with normal fire and lava, just not magical fire.
Or, was... Any which way, apparently, this was... Before we saw her... This is interesting because in the premiere, we saw her teleport, but she was a little dizzy and headachy afterwards. Then this time, she teleports again with someone else, didn't even mean to do it necessarily, and also, he was not exactly...
he didn't come out unscathed.
Yeah, he didn't come out unscathed at the other end, and so... Kind of the interesting how this is kind of the beginning.
Twilight's power level isn't all that high right here.
And they compare it to Lesson 0 in the second season. She's just bit, pop, all over the place. Yeah, no big deal. So it's just kind of interesting watching that. I'm 97% certain that was a intentional thing that was supposed to go somewhere later on, but
it just started getting messier as it went on. I can teleport all over the place, but I have really tough time carrying multiple animals.
Yeah, that was
what?
Season 3 where. Yeah, but anyway, it was supposed to clearly go somewhere, and just kind of afterwards, it's kind of you gotta get a weird.
Magic is weird.
Yep. Anyway.
Yeah. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head to talk about.
Also, Applejack and Rainbow Dash Hoof Wrestles.
Right. That happened.
I mean, we said that Fall Weather Friends is kind of the genesis, but there was hints of it here, but that Fall Weather Friends was the first time they really went into the rivalry between Dash and AJ.
Yeah, this was just more of an incidental rivalry. We both want the same thing. We're going to fight over it.
AJ should also start charging Rainbow Dash rent if she's going to nap in her trees.
That has been a consistent thing now. Rainbow Dash napping in Applejack's trees. That's
how you get the money to replace Granny's hip.
Yeah, again, I think that's about it I can talk about, so we should probably move on.
Probably
running out of time too.
Yeah, a little bit.
So we'll move on to fan content, and I will start off with music. The first song that I'm going to feature is Time to Be Awesome, remixed by Aurelleah. It's a nice, bouncy electro house remix. Instead of Some of the other remixes I've heard, which is like an orchestral remix of an orchestral song, is a bit odd. But this one's adding in all the electro stuff. Did definitely take it in a different direction, and I did like what they did, and they did a fairly good job of dealing with the existing sound effects, because you have to work with the movie sound effects in the middle of the song, and I think they did a fairly good job dealing with it.
If you buy the soundtrack.
I think they didn't have the soundtrack to work with when they made this. This song is 2 weeks old at this point. But yeah, that's what they said in the description too.
Weird, because the soundtrack's been out before the movie.
Yes, but how long has this song been in the works? They said in the description they were working with the preview stuff as well. Anyway, I think they did a pretty good job on this one.
Anyway, yeah, I do like how it differentiates itself from the original in the beginning, because it starts off pretty much identical with the horn thing, and then bam,
yep,
you're in the new stuff, and it has a kind of a sort of pseudo 80s sound at times. Yeah, it's pretty great.
Good remix. Go check it out. The next one I'm featuring is Brohoof Studios and Alca7raz. Tomorrow Will Be Yesterday. I really like this song. It's got a very uplifting melody to it. It's got decent vocal chops, although I will say that sometimes the vocal chops can be a bit rough. But overall, I think it's very well done. I think my favorite part is just the uplifting, happy emotion that the song has. I think Brohoof, and I'm just going to call him Dorito, did with this one. Did a really good job, and I really hope they keep working and do more.
Yeah, this bit of a beep boop.
Beep boop. Yeah,
very
it's happy hardcore.
Yeah, it's very energetic, and it's got some interesting vocal effects.
Yeah, a couple times I think there was a slight miss on them. I don't think they quite mixed in with the music as well as they could have, but not as much. It wasn't like
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it was still pretty good.
I didn't notice that. I just thought it was an interesting effect on them.
Yeah, but yes, really good. And Delta's been around for a bit under a different name. If you remember Technipony.
Oh well.
It's the same person. So yes, good job on that one, and I hope to listen to more in the future.
Right.
So yeah, those are the two songs I've got. Do you have any fanfics?
No new fanfics. I got stuff in the docket, but it's not quite ready yet to be featured. So it's there. It's just not ready.
You're keeping an eye on some potentials.
Yes, several potentials that show promise, but I'm not ready because they're just started, and I don't want to.
They're only potentials.
Yeah, they just started, so don't want to feature them until they're on their way.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I do have a couple updates. The Worst of All Possible Worlds got 3 new chapters. I hope it's just 3 chapters.
It's probably gonna update another 2 or 3.
Yeah, over the course
over the weekend.
Yeah, but anyway, a couple more chapters, kind of somewhat, almost not quite, bring the current Nightmare Moon arc to a close in a way, but there's still a little bit more to do.
Yeah, the Nightmare Moon arc is.
Let's just say Sunset deals Applejack and Nightmare Moon and kind of all in one fell swoop.
Yeah. That arc is
without
closed.
Using the elements.
And it is very different than the other ones, like they said it would be.
Yeah, so that's
I like how that one went.
I also kind of looked at some of the author stuff. He has plans all the way through 7 arcs.
7?
Yep.
Wow, because, I mean, we just hit the
they
next
already
section.
have ideas for this. They apparently, planned out for the 7th arc because, the 7th arc is more or less what pushed the story into existence in the first place.
I'm curious as to what the other arcs are going to be, because, I mean, there's only so many
we've seen
timelines that we've seen in the show.
We've been through the Sombra, Chrysalis, and Nightmare Moon timelines. There's still Tirek. I guess Flim Flam.
Oh yeah, it's a Flim Flam.
That's 5, I guess. It might be coming up with what the 6th one would be.
The only other one I can think of is the Desolate World.
That's 7. They said that's 7.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember what the 6th one was.
I don't know. Might have to rewatch that episode. Are you willing to rewatch that episode?
That part I can watch. It's gonna be an arc where Sunset has to deal with a version where she came into that world and
Oh,
oh boy,
I would love to see how that goes.
oh
To
boy,
deal with myself,
That would be
literally
fun.
facing my own demon.
Oh no. Yeah, so I wasn't sure how they were gonna wrap up this arc, but it was actually pretty well done, I think.
I liked it. I liked where it
A
went.
very different way. And then, of course, Enchanted Kingdom also updated with 2 new chapters, one of which is an interlude.
Yep.
And what was it? Right. Finally re-meeting Cadence. Re-meeting with
yes.
Cadence. Finally. That was a big part.
There was that ending of that one was kind of hard on the heart.
Yep. So, those are the updates.
Those are the updates. And that's all the fanfic stuff.
Yep.
That's all the fan content stuff. That brings us to a close. So, as normal, hope you liked what you heard. If you did, you can find all of our other episodes, past, future, present, at pony411.libsyn.com. Remember, that's spelled Libsyn. You can also find us on iTunes. Just search for Pony411. Go subscribe to us there. Give us stars. You can also find us on Stitcher, Stitcher.com, or the mobile apps on Android or iOS. Just search for us, Pony411. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/Pony411. So go there and do the stereotypical YouTube trifecta, like, comment, subscribe, yada, 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 on our videos. You can also find us on Google Play. That's play.google.com/music. Go there, then search for Pony411. You'll find us there. We are also on Ponyville Live, along with all of their other shows. Whenever our YouTube will update, our page there on Ponyville Live will also update. So find us there. We also air on Ponyville FM Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, so tune in then. You can also tune in other times to listen to good music. They have live DJs and such there as well, so check them out. If you would like to get a hold of us, you can email us. We are pony411podcast@gmail.com. So send us comments, criticism, suggestions. If you have some piece of news or whatnot that you want us to take a look at, we will take a look at it. So send it to us there. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/pony411. Go like our page there. We post updates when they happen. You can also find us on Twitter @Pony411. Go follow us, tweet us. That's probably the best way for quick communications. See us tweet nonsense when we do tweet nonsense or breaking news that we don't have time to put into an episode.
Yeah, if it's super
if
important.
it's like super important
and time sensitive.
Yeah, we'll tweet it out there and such like that. You can also find us on our personal accounts. I am at Alca7raz with a 7 instead of T and an underscore at the end, and he is at Nemesis Prime 1. So go follow us, see whatever we tweet, like stuff about Star Wars, which I'm not posting spoilers.
Nope, not doing
I'm
that
not
either.
a jerk. I'll just give a quick opinion. I already posted that. And that's the most you'll get there. Again, that's the end of the episode. Hope you liked what you heard, and we hope you tune in next episode in 2 weeks when we talk about something.
Yeah, it'll be the final episode of 2017, although you won't hear that one until 2018.
Yeah.
But anyway, between then and now, Christmas, so Merry Christmas and all
Happy
that
holidays.
stuff. Happy holidays. All that
Hearthwarming.
jazz. Hearthwarming.
Happy Hearthwarming Eve and Hearthwarming, yes. Go watch a Pony Christmas thing. Go listen to the Christmas album.
Yes.
It is a good album. I would recommend listening to it. But until next time, remember, please, pony responsibly. See ya.
Bye.